I'll call on Government Order of the Day number 2.
Animal Welfare Amendment Bill, interrupted debate on third reading.
The question is that the House resumes debate on the third reading of the Animal Welfare Amendment Bill. The Honourable Trevor Mallard has 5 minutes remaining, should he choose to.
Thank you. I certainly do, Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. And as I was sort of rudely interrupted by the clock at 6 o'clock last Thursday, I was indicating to the House that I thought that while Nathan Guy is a nice chap, he has been pretty ineffectual in this area. He has been very ineffectual in getting the resources necessary to have a proper and independent service which focuses on animal welfare, particularly in the area of primary production. I think he relies on the SPCA pretty heavily within domestic arrangements, but what he doesn't have is a good force out on farms, ensuring that the small minority of farmers who treat animals badly are dealt with properly. And I also indicated that it is my view that the government's approach to allow cruelty to animals to continue for another 15 years. So practices which this minister accepts are cruel and must go, don't have to go for another 15 years. And in my opinion, Mr. Speaker, that is just not good enough. And as well as being cruel and wrong, they are not in New Zealand's economic interests. It is in the interest of our farmers for New Zealand to have a reputation of being world-leading in production farming practices. And generally, most of our farmers are. But there are some whose practices are awful. They are generally, but not only centred in the pork and in the poultry industries. That's where the biggest problems come from, the most obvious problems come from, but we also have some very poor examples of farmers in some other areas as well. And if we want to grab hold of the opportunities, especially in Europe, but actually in a number of other countries as well, increasingly in the United States, and even in parts of the middle class in Asia, there is more and more focus on the way we treat our animals in a way that is similar to the way that we treat our environment. And if we're not seen to be world leading in this area, over a period of time, we will go backwards. And unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, it's often the fact that we mistreat our pigs will end up being a problem for our sheep. It's the fact that we mistreat our poultry will end up being a problem for our beef offshore, because it is a country's reputation across all of the cruelty practices, which is, in my opinion, very important. Mr. Speaker, I'm holding up now the area that will be the area available to chooks, including size 18 and size 20 chooks, under the National Party's new advanced 2022 rules. So under the rules which will come into effect then, a chook will have 750 square centimetres, a tiny area. A decent chook will have trouble turning around. It might be a wee bit of progress, Mr. Speaker, but frankly, it is not good enough. I think, in conclusion, I want to thank again Mojo Mathis for the work that she did, thank the government for running out of other business so it could get on with getting this bill through, but to say that eventually we're going to have to look at the real question, and that is to allow all farmed animals the right to go outside. If we don't let all farmed animals have the right to go outside, we will be regarded as cruel and our exports will suffer. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call Ian McKelvey.